Shadow work explained simply so you can actually understand what it means when people say do shadow work or using the term shadow work, and why it actually sabotages your life, your relationships, your business, everything. So it's very, very important to do shadow work, but most people don't understand what it is because people use these vague, fluffy, psychological, spiritual terms of what shadow work is. So I'm going to debunk that. I'm going to take away the mysticism here. I'm going to make it super practical so you can actually understand what people mean when they say go do some shadow work, because I'm going to break it down for you today. If you're new to the channel, thank you for joining me. My name is Lewis Huckstep. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a coach. I run events, I coach people. I've coached over 10,000 people now, and I love helping people. And I love helping people find their true authentic self, their purpose, their true authentic self. I like helping people heal trauma, do the inner work, and create a life that they love, a life on your terms, an inspired life. Hence why I say the inspired life method. So before I get started, the only request I have, if you could just like this video and subscribe, it honestly helps out more than you realize. It's going to share it to more people, so I get to help more people. So with that being said, let's rock and roll. Thank you for liking and subscribing. So shadow work. I want to break this down. The reason I like a big concept or way that I think, when I grew up, I had learning disabilities. I was in learning disabled classes. I got diagnosed with Asperger's, autism, ADHD, and anxiety, and all these other limitations that came along later. And I was really slow at learning. I was in the learning disabled classes because for me, I didn't understand things. I'm actually quite a slow learner when it comes to certain things. It takes me a bit of time to digest things, to understand things, but when I get it, I get it. And for if you knew anyone at school who would always like say why, or they'd always have their hand up asking questions in class, that was me. So like you get taught something, and I'll just be like, why? Can you give an example? I don't understand. Can you explain it to me again? So I'm actually quite a very slow interpretator or learner or digester of information. But as for anyone that has done work with me, balancing everything, the gift of that, by being a slow learner, I'm a very simple, thorough teacher. So I like to break it down very simply. Who said it? I think Einstein maybe that said, or someone said it, where if you can't teach it to a 6-year-old, you don't know it well enough. So that's very much my work. So if you follow my work, you'll notice I take these big, fluffy, vague terms and I break it down into very simple step-by-step processes and frameworks to actually do something about it. So that's what I'm doing here today when it comes to shadow work. So I've just jumped on ChatGPT and I said, can you explain to me what shadow work is? And I'm going to read you out some of the answers because listen to how vague and fluffy it is. It's the alchemy of turning pain into power, shame into self-love, separation into unity. It also said, in the realm of the shadow lies your deepest magic waiting to be reclaimed. Shadow work is the divine act of meeting your inner child, your inner critic, your rage, your grief, your shame, your whispering, you are safe, you belong, I see you. Like, again, it kind of sounds good. It's like mental masturbation. That sounds really cool. But what the fuck does that mean and what do you do about it? Because that's even just reading that now, it's like I still don't understand it. And it actually sparked I think this came from like a conversation I had maybe like a year ago. I'm a coach, so I know a lot of coaches. So a lot of my friends are coaches. And a friend of mine, Lockie, if you're watching this. So Lockie he's a friend of mine and he was a shadow work coach. He no longer goes by that sort of title. But when he was a shadow work coach, I went up to him, I said, bro, can you just like explain to me, because I don't understand, I'm a slow learner, right? What is shadow work? And make it simple, please. And he gave me, I can't even repeat what the fuck he said. He gave me this big, lengthy paragraph. And by the end of it, I was like, I still don't fucking understand what it means. What is, like, say it simply. So that's kind of my mindset with things. It's like when I want to learn about something, I want to really understand it and digest it so I can teach it to a 6-year-old because that's how I learn. So I want to give you guys a new framework or a new definition of what shadow work is and what you can do today to start doing shadow work to heal. Because yes, it's very important, like to do the inner work and to work on your shadows, but I want to explain to you what that means. So if you listened to my work before, you probably heard these terms before. 3 things. Number 1 is trauma. Trauma is a moment of overwhelm or underwhelm. It's a moment that short circuits the system. It's when you fragment or split your awareness or consciousness, and you often open a loop of emotions that you don't close. So there's the mental and the emotional aspect of trauma. So there's the conscious, unconscious mind that comes into play. So you split your awareness, you become conscious of the downsides, unconscious of the upsides, and you often open an emotional loop that does not get closed. That's what trauma is. Second is coping mechanisms. It's what we do to overcompensate, overcome, protect, and hide the trauma. Third is a trigger. Something reminds you of the trauma and activates the coping mechanism. Nothing triggers you, it reveals what's inside of you. So, trauma actually ties into shadows. Now, it took me a while to really understand this part. So, this is what I like to teach. So, when a baby is born, what parts of a baby is worthy of love? It's an obvious answer. All parts. All parts of a baby is worthy of love because all of us are lovable. All parts of us are lovable. We're all loved. We are all worthy of receiving and being loved for all parts of who we are. But then we go through life and we experience trauma, where it's moments of overwhelm or underwhelm, and we create a perception and beliefs that some parts of us are bad. This is what shadows are. Your shadows are the parts of you that you think are bad. It's the unloved parts of who you are. So another quote that I like using for trauma and healing, healing or inner work or transformation work is learning to love all parts of who you are. This is essentially what shadow work is. Shadow work is learning to love all parts of who you are. Now, what does that mean? Let's use some examples. So I do this exercise quite frequently, so you can do it again with me. If you've done it before, do it again, and you can use someone else, or do the same people, and you might come up with some different answers. So I'm going to do the mum and dad exercise. If you've done it before, you know what I mean. So I want you to think of dad right now. Father, whoever played the father figure role for you, don't judge your answers. Just let them come through for you. There's no judgment here. Just let it come through for you authentically, okay? So think of dad. Think of whoever played that role for you. You might have had multiple people. Just think of one person who comes to mind. Don't judge your answers, even if you love this person, even if they're passed away, still answer the question, okay? Everyone can answer this question if you hold yourself accountable. So the question is, think of dad. You're going to use one-word answers. They will be traits, behaviors, or parts of him, okay? Traits, behaviors, or parts of him. In a one-word answer, what's the one thing you dislike most about dad? Whatever comes up for you, just let it come through you. And I want you to answer it 3 times if you can. Come up with as many answers as you can. What's the one thing you dislike most about dad? Think of it. Judgment, criticism, anger, manipulation, control, abuse, absence, invalidation, unseen, unheard, unloved. The list goes on. There's 4,628 traits that human beings have within them. So think of your answers. Pause the video if you need a little bit more time. Once you've done dad, move on and do mum. So do the exact same process. Think of mum, let her come to the center of your mind, take a big breath in if you need to, and answer the question, what's the one thing you dislike most about mum? It'll be a trait, a behavior, or a part of her. Use one-word answers and try come up with 3 if you can. Again, unseen, unloved, weak, soft, invalidated, whatever it is. Think of those words. Don't judge your answers. Just take a breath in. What's the one thing you dislike most about dad? What's the one thing you dislike most about mum? They will be parts of them, traits or behaviors or things that they did or didn't do. Pause the video, take your time, come up with your answers. Put them in the comments too. I'd like to hear your comments. So have a look at your answers, whatever you came up with. Anger, manipulation, control, abuse, lying, whatever it may be. All of these words of yours are traumas of yours. They come from moments in time of overwhelm or underwhelm. It was overwhelming or underwhelming these things. It was painful. It was too much or not enough. You then create a perception that these traits, these behaviors, or these parts of this person is bad. Simultaneously, they become parts of you that you think are bad. Welcome to shadow work. They're parts of you that you don't love. So look at all those words. These are parts of you you don't love. These are parts of you that you judge yourself for. These are parts of you that you shame yourself for. These are the parts of you that you try to hide in the shadows of you. That's what shadow work is. It's the unloved parts of who you are, which come from trauma. I hope this is making sense. I wish I was taught this when I first heard the word shadow work because it sounded like fluffy and cool and spiritual and like woo-woo. I'm like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. But no one really explained it to me like this. They gave me this big, fluffy, weird, psychological, spiritual terms. But if you just break it down to, it is the parts of you that you don't love, the parts of you that you shame and you hide. And shadow work is learning to love all parts of who you are. The traits, the behaviors, the parts of you that you think are bad. Crazy, eh? And here's the thing. Those words you just came up with, these are things that you attract into your life. You keep running into these things, don't you? You keep attracting these things into your life, especially your relationships. Relationships are one of the ultimate mirrors to you. So you might have heard life is just a mirror. Very true. And some of the biggest mirrors are relationships, children, and parents. They're some of the biggest mirrors to you. People that have the most amount of proximity to you. What you run away from, you run into. So you run away from these things because they're bad, because they're your shadows. And this is where they say your shadows follow you everywhere. You're running away from them, but you're running straight into them. And then when you perceive them, back to those three things I told you before. So trauma, coping mechanisms, and triggers. Look at your words that you came up with. When someone does these words to you, when someone lies to you, controls you, manipulates you, invalidates you, makes you feel unloved, unseen, unheard, it will trigger you into a coping mechanism. And just some examples of coping mechanisms: dissociation, anger, fight, flight, freezing, judgment, smoking cigarettes, eating food, overworking, people pleasing. There's so many coping mechanisms. We come up with our own strategies. Nothing triggers you, reveals what's inside of you. And that's where triggers, I say this a lot, triggers are gifts. Because your triggers are revealing the parts of you haven't learned to love yet. How good's that? A trigger is a chink in the armor, a glitch in the matrix, if you want to go down that way as well, where it's revealing a part of you haven't yet learned to love. And with the gift of awareness, a trigger gets to show you where you get to work on yourself, where you get to do some inner healing work or some shadow work, if you want to use that term, where you get to love and integrate that part of who you are. How do you do that is a very common question. My balancing process is fantastic. Whoop, just hit my mic. My balancing process is fantastic. I've taken thousands of people through it now. I'm really grateful for that. I got an epic testimonial this morning. It was so cool. Of someone who did the balancing process and healed from hurt from her dad, which was a part of her that she shamed herself from. It was really beautiful. It was really, really beautiful. So if you want to use my balancing process, come work with me. There's a free trial and a one-on-one call with me in the caption below. You go grab that if you want to come work with me. Absolutely free for 7 days. And you get a one-on-one call with me and you get instant access to all my tools and processes. So let's summarize shadow work, because I want it to be practical so you can do something about it. So when you hear someone say, do some shadow work, or they're a shadow work coach, or you hear these weird, fluffy spiritual terms, just understand it's learning to love all parts of who you are, which are traits, behaviors, or parts of a human. Remember, when a baby is born, all parts of the baby is loved. But then we grow up and go through pain or trauma, moments of overwhelm or underwhelm, and we learn that those parts of us are bad and are not lovable. Then we judge ourselves for it. We project and judge others for it. We get triggered by it, which reveals those parts we haven't loved yet. That's the opportunity to go love and heal and integrate that part of who you are. How do you do that? My balancing process does that for you. It's really beautiful. It takes about 90 minutes to do a process, and it is life-changing, absolutely life-changing. I've got clients who have done therapy for 30 years, 45 years, and never healed properly. My balancing process does it in one process. It is life-changing. So I'd love to serve you if that resonates with you. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment down below. Did this make sense? My goal is to make it make sense to people so it empowers you to do something about it. So hope you enjoy this. I'd love to hear thoughts, comments, questions down below. If you'd like a free trial and a one-on-one call with me, down below. If you want to grab a copy of my book, go to Amazon, go to Audible, go to Kindle. It is all there for you. Please like, please subscribe. I love you. I appreciate you. I'll see you on the next podcast. See ya.